Hi, this is Catch Up Japan new podcast program. We will share the tips of Japanese language and also share the information catching up what's happening in Japan recently. Uh, I'm a Japanese girl. I will introduce the news and language tips. I'm Kumi and a friend from Australia, Anna.
Hello, I've just recently come to Japan. I find the culture very intriguing. I'm very excited to learn more from Kumi about the language, the culture, and I've been keeping up with the news, hopefully to help you guys hear some new and interesting stories as well.
And we have Alan.
Hi, I'm in the background here, but as Kumi said, my name is Alan. I'm from the United States. I've been in Japan for about 13 years, and so I'm hoping to give you guys a perspective or the perspective of someone who's been here for an extended period of time.
Cool. We will learn this program with three this time. So first, I want to talk about Japanese language, some slang.
Mhm.
Do, Anna, you already used to use Japanese currency notes, right?
Yes, it took me a while to
Yeah.
get the coins right, but now I understand. It's weird because the uh, thousand here is like the 10 there, so in Australia, so it kind of translates. They're just much bigger numbers, but
Anna, I want
Yeah,
to
there
ask,
are.
oh, sorry. I was going to ask Anna, like, does it feel like you're spending way more money in Japan than it does when you're at home?
it does feel like that. But I'm starting to, so the more I think about the 100 yen, the more I realize that it's like that's my reference. I go back to that because then I realize that actually I'm spending pretty much the same amount, but it does feel like more because the numbers are much bigger.
Yeah, and with us too, like since our the coins we have, our bills start at $1, and then with Japan it's like the 500 yen is about $5 roughly. So since they're coins, it doesn't feel like you're spending a lot. If that makes sense, it's like
Yeah, but
yeah,
actually, yeah.
yeah.
It's interesting. I had a completely opposite experience when I've been to Europe or Toronto because currency number is much smaller. So I feel like I haven't used I hadn't used the money that much. That's
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
So there are three notes in Japanese currency, 10,000 yen and 5,000 yen and 1,000 yen. Do you remember what person are in that currency note design?
There's someone famous on the. It's
Yes.
not a president.
Yeah. It's not crazy famous in the world. We maybe Japanese people have a respect to them and have a empathy with them, but not like Ono Yoko, some international famous person. So I'm not surprised you don't know, but um, their name is 1,000 yen for Noguchi Hideo, 5,000 yen, Higuchi Ichio, 10,000 yen. His name is uh, oh, Fukuzawa Yukichi. Sorry, excuse me. So, the first slang I want to tell is that people sometimes call that note their name. Like I have a Noguchi, or
Mm.
I love Yukichi.
Ah,
Same in
Yukichi.
America. Well, at least like in the 90s, at least. I'm aging myself right now, but um, we used to call $100 bills like Benjamins because Benjamin Franklin is on $100 bill. I don't think we,
Yukichi.
yeah, I don't think we said it for any other note though, because 100 is typically the highest that you can get. It is the highest in circulation. But what
I
about?
think we have.
Yeah.
I think we have the Queen of England on one of our notes actually, but we don't call it that. We don't say
Liz,
I have a the best.
I
our
got.
Queen.
She's on everybody's mind.
Well, it's too much
Yeah,
to say. That it sounds a little bit undignified if called the note queen.
or Elizabeth.
I got a Lizzie. I got 5 Lizzies right now.
So for YouTube Medium, I wanted to show the note for YouTube, but I don't have now I can say I don't have a Yukichi. You
Oh,
just one.
we
You
can
just
put
number one.
it. We'll throw it up in post. So people-
Yeah, yeah.
I had a
But
question
yeah,
about Yukichi, if you don't mind.
yes.
Yukichi, tell me if this is just stupid, but I've heard that he could like hear and keep track of multiple conversations at is that something that's true? Is that like BS?
You mean the episode you heard is Yukichi is have the ability to listen a lot of people what they say at the same time.
Yeah, and also be able to like keep track of everything that they're saying.
No, no, I've never heard that rumor, but there's a person who have that rumor.
Mhm.
Is Shotoku Taishi?
Um,
Isn't he Shotoku Taishi? Because Shotoku Taishi was the two previous currency design person.
oh, okay. Okay, well maybe
Yeah.
maybe I got it mixed up.
Mm.
Actually, didn't Napoleon used to do that? He used to like listen to on the phone and write at the same time and listen to someone else speaking. It's
Napoleon?
like,
Oh,
yeah,
really? Wait, we're from?
Literally.
yeah.
Okay.
But Shotoku Taishi, in that rumor, Shotoku Taishi can listen 10 people at the same time.
Oh,
Oh, okay. He's got nothing.
I
okay.
don't know if it's true or not. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And also maybe we'll have another a new design currency in near future. The next person who will be in design is Shibusawa Eiichi.
Mm.
So I'm wondering people will call the 10,000 yen Shibusawa or his nickname like Shibu-chan or something like that.
She would just,
Shibu-chan.
but
I
he's gonna
said
get,
that this like slang.
yeah.
And not people don't call it don't call them in this way not often that much.
So how do
So
you say
when
it?
you want Tensarayan Yukichi.
Yukichi.
So when you don't want to say when you don't want to talk about money clearly, want to make it sound ambiguous, you can say Yukichi. For example, a lot of people using money for social media gain,
Mm.
but actually they have kind of small guiltiness because they thought you using money in a wasting time a wasting way.
Okay.
So they said I used a lot of Yukichi that game. You know,
Oh, okay.
don't want
Yeah.
to say use the money a lot.
Mm. Okay. Makes it less real, kind of.
Mm.
Okay. That's cool.
So also very welcome to answer your question about Japanese language or culture. So if you have ideas about of a question, please leave the comment on this program, or I'm also welcome from the question from Anna and Ella as well.
Yes. Yes.
Yep.
Um,
So how's going recently about quarantine life?
I'm
Quarantine
enjoying it.
life.
I'm really.
Same.
I've been playing a lot of games, and yeah.
Although I do miss exercise, I don't do nearly as much as I did before quarantine. So that's kind of gone down the drain.
Wait, did you go to the gym
I
before?
used to go to the gym, like
You're in scuba?
the yeah, the university gym is very good, but now that I can't go, I struggle to do it at home.
Well, you could just, be like Kai. And,
I could definitely, but instead I watch.
okay. But how have you been handling it, Kumi?
Well, hopefully I can work from the house because of my job, but like other people, my next month income will be decreased will decrease, I'm sure. So I was waiting some compensation from official compensation from government. And I was waiting information. And a few days ago, we got a news. The government will um, give us 2 masks for a family as one of the compensations idea.
Like 2 face
Did you get
masks.
it? 2 face masks.
So for
Yeah, I'm curious in US and in Australia, the surgical mask or face masks
Mhm.
has been gone from drugstore or not?
Yeah, no, there's none left, and
Yeah.
they're struggling to get them available in hospitals where they're actually needed.
Yeah, in the States, there's a lot of people who bought up huge supplies and then started to try to resell them for a much higher price, like price gouging essentially. So we've been kind of like um, hard on those people. Um,
And
I was gonna say something else.
that's happening. Mm-hmm.
I think Trump tried to block masks being sent to Canada as well, just because the shortage is so low. And I think that the government may or may not have, the US government may or may not have like asked 3M, which is, like a major manufacturer of a lot of stuff, including face masks, um, to divert all of their inventory to us instead of, sending it to other countries that may need it. So, mm.
Oh, yeah, that similar thing happened in Japan as well. So that's the reason the government decided to serve us 2 masks for a family. Sounds definitely not enough.
Wait, so
No,
per family, not per person, per family.
no,
How many
per
people do you have
family.
in your family, Kumi?
Yeah, 3 adults and 2 cats.
Okay. So you're all sharing.
Even 4 is not enough. So, and the government said that mask is not disposable, so please wash and use again.
You wouldn't be able to go outside more than 2 people at once, then I suppose.
Yeah,
But
and it's a cloth mask too, if I'm not mistaken, right? It's not like the mask that you can buy at a convenience store. It's like a cloth mask.
it's not like this. Yes, and then we have an idea that kind of small cloth mask
Mhm.
are for children when yeah, sorry, let me change the story way to tell the story. When I was kid,
Mhm.
In the school there is an official school lunch, and at this lunchtime few of students serve everyone's lunch, and
Mhm.
everyone make it a queue in front of us, the member of lunch serving students. That time we are wearing cloth mask, not the mask from convenience store. So we have a specific idea that mask reminds us lunch serving student.
Oh,
In the internet, lots of Japanese people make a joke about it, because Abe Prime Minister wearing that kind of a cloth mask. So Abe lunch staff, Abe lunch staff. I saw another, can I say it's meme? Uh, Another picture which become popular in Twitter.
Mhm.
There is a famous animation. It's called Sazae-san. This is a story about family, very and the animation showed a very common Japanese family life in the past. So this character are very popular, and we are very familiar to see that family. The family member is mom, dad, uh, elder sister, elder brother, and the youngest sister, and that elder sister's son, husband, and cat. So that family had seven family member, but Abe will give them only 2 masks. Masks. So in that picture, this family making two lines and then wearing one mask of the first person on this line wearing one mask and then the uh,
Bend it, like stretch it all the way to the last person.
yes, yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, we'll put a picture up so that people can see. Too.
Yes, yes, please.
Yeah.
That, that's so ironic, sarcastic way
Yeah.
to criticize that two masks program.
Hmm.
I was actually going to ask. I was just thinking, how did Japan deal with the Japanese flu? Because obviously Japan is kind of used to viruses in that sense because they've had the Japanese flu, which is much harsher, from what I understand, than
Yeah,
the.
especially when specific season we will get the announcement I can take a vaccine of flu, and then there are type of flu, right? Flu A, flu B, flu C, something like that, and I can choose which flu's vaccine I want to take. So it's not a necessary thing to do, but in this specific season, I can take a vaccine
Do you think
officially.
Japanese people aren't as worried about corona because they've obviously had to deal with a bunch of other viruses?
The first timing, some people say that new coronavirus doesn't isn't different between flu virus that much. Some yeah, maybe some people had a different idea.
I heard too that some people in Japan think that since you guys, what is it called? It's BCG. Is it CBG or BCG? I forget what it is. But like the shot that you get when you're young, a child.
Ah, yes.
That
Oh
that
yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot the name, but I have a mark. I
yeah,
had a that one. Yeah,
In
yeah.
Europe, you get it too.
Oh, you get it too in Europe?
Yeah.
How many like dots is it?
I only
9.
have one.
One? Okay, and then you get nine, right? Can we?
Yeah, yes.
I've heard-
9.
The
Yeah.
very small one,
Oh,
like a
okay, because mine's
dice.
quite
Yes.
big.
Oh, I can see it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like,
Imagine 9 of those.
yeah, yeah. It's a quick way to see who's Japanese and who isn't Japanese. Like, yeah, when you're, anyways. But
This is not still. This is not clear if it's the reason Japan influence infections are not huge numbers
yeah,
compared to other country, right? Yeah, I've heard of that rumor as well.
yeah. It'd be interesting to compare it to like other countries that get similar shots to see what their numbers are. But yeah.
I've also heard we have a culture to take take shoes off
Mm-hmm.
at the entrance of home.
Mm-hmm.
So we're not gonna walk around the shoes. We walk around outside inside the apartment.
Right.
So some people say that's the reason we, you know, protect infection.
Japan is definitely
Yeah.
quite a lot more hygienic and kind of aware of these hygiene rules than they they're more strict with their hygiene. So I do think that's benefited. It's made sure corona isn't spread as easily.
I don't know if it's true, except my room.
Your room's clean. Your room looks very clean, Kumi. Oh
Mm.
wait, no, never mind.
In this square area, I clean it. So
um,
another sad thing because of coronavirus is the animation I mentioned.
mhm.
This is actually this animation has a World Guinness record, which World Guinness record because how can I say it? Sorry.
Like the longest running animated series.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the voice recording session of this anime is stopped. You know, the main character's voice actor is maybe around 80 years old. Now she's fine, but for their safe, they stopped that voice recording section to make this animation. So maybe we can't see new episode of Sazae-san. This animation is called Sazae-san. New episode of Sazae-san for a while. I'm wondering the Guinness accept that breaking time as longest time. Keep going longest time record.
Do you
Yeah.
know how long it actually is?
Oh yeah, I should have checked it.
Because
It
that'd be interesting.
starts. Sorry, I can't find a specific number of information right now. It starts 1969,
Wow.
1969. Wow.
And it's been
and
going.
it still keep going.
Yeah, that's crazy.
But now it stopped, so I don't know what's gonna happen. Hopkins
The
will
Japanese do
accept.
like things to be quite like of high quality and go for long periods of time. That's why the culture has survived so many centuries and it's still so prominent even in modern times.
Yeah. Do you feel like Sazae-san is kind of like a national treasure, Kumi?
Yeah.
Because
Oh,
oh, go ahead.
Sazae-san become national heritage.
Or like
What?
or like a really important cultural asset for Japan. Because I'd imagine like
Yes.
it's something your mom has watched, it's something that you watched, and keep going on. You know, it's something that like the next generation of your family could watch.
Yes, and that's interesting. If maybe very very first episode of Sazae-san, of course there is no smartphone, but
Mm.
nowadays the family has a smartphone, so we can see how Japanese families' lifestyle has been changed
No
from
one
the
ages.
animation. Hmm?
I'm sorry, I cut you off. I said no one ages in the show then. So everyone
Sorry,
stays
I can't
the
see
same
you.
age.
Age? Yeah. So the baby is baby forever.
Okay.
This animation.
All right. But they have smartphones. They were using old telephones, but now they have smartphones. That's interesting. Okay. Then what about speaking of like series ending? Nice transition there by me. Um the 100, what was it? The crocodile. A crocodile died. A crocodile who will die
Yes.
in 100 days series is finished. Then yeah, he's finally
And
away.
this is brand new one though. Japanese comic also wrote this series, and the concept is he wrote the crocodile character's life, uh, very very common life, um, each by each, day by day,
Hmm.
until the day become 100th day, and at the end of the day, 100th day, a crocodile died. So a lot of people following that story, and people had a wish not gonna please don't kill the crocodile, end of the story or something like that. But finally, a crocodile died. So now it's become news.
I checked out a couple of the strips, and I don't think I fully understood the appeal, but I did look at the last one where he actually died, and then like they were supposed to have like a hanami with his
Mm.
friends, and then he was running late. Oh wait, maybe hold on. Should I not tell? Just in case people want to. Well, yeah,
Yes, yes,
I
yeah.
will. I
But
won't say.
No spoilers.
Yeah, I won't.
I
Spoil.
mean,
Maybe
the
yeah.
most important thing is, most important thing is he already died. So,
Well, that's spoiling it, isn't it? Well, you said he was
Yeah.
dead from the beginning.
but the title is, you know, the animation. No, sorry. The comic title is the crocodile who died in 100 days. So
Yeah,
it's obviously he will die.
yeah. It was still actually like sad though, like looking at the last one, even though you know he's gonna die.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh wow, okay. But yeah, we'll leave that
The,
to people to discover on their own. It's on all of the strips are on Instagram. The artist put all of them up. I believe his name. What is his name?
uh, I think he started to post on Twitter first. His name is Yuki Kikuchi.
Yuki Kikuchi.
Yes. So I think he posted on Twitter first.
Um, yeah, I'm just gonna look up his exact tag for Instagram, just in case people want to check it out. Yuki Kikuchi.
So that comic doesn't have a specific story. For example, he bought something from TV shopping. Is it called TV shopping? Like see products on the TV and called I want to buy for this company. Yeah, he bought his favorite duvet or something. But this is very very popular product. So the telephone company said it will be alive, a year later. But this crocodile said, yes, I can wait. But uh, this comic said uh, he has only 90 days, something like that, in a comic, in the same page.
Oh.
So it's just the crocodile doesn't have a specific story, like kill enemy or being brave to kill something. Not adventure, not RPG, just daily. They also showed daily life of crocodile character. But each page has a countdown to die, to
Yeah,
his die. Yes, that's
it
I could say
sounds.
make me thoughtful, but just that.
Yeah, he's just living, and he's living his life like normally without obviously knowing that he's gonna die. And it
You,
sounds really grim, but the art style is really actually quite bright and colorful and
mm,
and for those who like don't read perfect Japanese, it's not like super difficult Japanese either. There are
no,
some like some weird mm, some things that are a bit hard to interpret, but it's not, it's as far as like the reading level, it's definitely not like high level. So if you want to practice your Japanese, you can check that out.
that's good way.
Yeah. um okay, these transitions are not smooth at all. Anna, do you want to go on to your topic?
Wait, the one with the schools?
Yeah,
Okay.
because like so since obviously the coronavirus is a global pandemic, Japan has adapted in many ways, um, and schools are closed. I think some places are reopening schools. If I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
Hyogo is reopening schools. Hyogo is a prefecture like in the Kansai area, next to like near Kyoto, near Osaka, that region, right? Can we?
Yes,
Yeah. I think the governor, would it be a governor for a prefecture, is he's reopening the schools. But some things that people have done are
There's a university in where was the university? They're using robots to replace the students at graduation. The robots have been called Nume, Nume.
human.
new
Yeah,
me.
and they're developed by a company called Anna Holdings, which is my name as well. We thought that'd be right. A lot of Japanese companies actually are using my name. The airline Anna
Oh
Nippon.
yeah.
Yeah, interesting. So these robots are going into the graduation building. They've got the face of the student on a screen, and everything else is just as if they're real people, but obviously they're robots. They're going in, getting their diploma, coming back out.
It's a robot receive diploma like this.
Yeah,
This is a typical movement
it's
in
kind of
graduation
like,
party.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
actually, I have a video. Why don't we? Can you guys see? Can you see this?
Yes, please.
Can you see my screen?
Not yet.
What about now?
Oh, now it's working.
It's
Okay.
working.
Now let's see if we can get this to play. Damn. Hear it too?
Oh, wow. Teen teachers are literally joining.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
入学当初はまさかアバターロボット
But that's cool.
教書を受け取るってことは1ミリも考えてませんでした。今こうして、プライベートな空間にいながら実際こういう公の場で、ありがたく証書を受け取るってことは本当に、斬新な経験だと思っております。
Yes, exactly.
Yo, that
This
is.
is happening.
Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, this is happening at a business university in Tokyo.
Okay, that's actually I like that.
Me too. It's cool. It's actually cool.
Yeah. My wife, it goes to scuba. Well, went to scuba university, and they just completely, just flat out canceled the entire graduation ceremony. Literally nothing.
The funny thing is that they still had to go and receive their diplomas, which meant they all were gathered at the same time in the same place.
Yeah.
It kind of defeated the purpose of not having a graduation.
Yeah, they could have. I thought they could have done something. You know, it would have been nice to like celebrate that moment. And I know that like some kids have also had their graduation since like they didn't get to, like all schools are closed. Were closed in March, I believe, and so some kids had their own graduation ceremony on Minecraft too. I remember seeing a video about that. It was pretty cool. Very very creative.
If I was a kid, I'd be very excited about that.
Yeah.
Always not official from the school, right? Kids' creativity bring that topic, bring that episode.
Say it again, Kumi.
Sorry, that's not an official thing. Come from school decision. Yeah, kids do. Children that have done it on themselves, right?
Yeah,
Wow.
not to my knowledge, but I do think that one of the teachers did attend the ceremony on Minecraft.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's really cool. Minecraft is used for like so much nowadays. Like, it is.
I love it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yes. So how else are?
It's not gonna be standard, having graduation ceremony with robot or in virtual, but I mean, not gonna be standard for university graduation. But some school has, online course, some school which has an online course or every diploma have been done by online can do that same thing, even though there is no coronavirus situation.
Yeah, yeah,
True.
yeah. And then like I think
Thanks, lovely.
Yeah, yeah. It's really like the ingenuity is really cool. And like using something that wasn't meant for that purpose, but like just like adapting it for this is really cool to see that. Like, because I think people are using applications on their cell phones for.
True. Yes, you're right. They actually got apps now for marathons.
Another use of technology where wasn't meant for that purpose per se, but yeah.
But now everybody wants to keep on doing. So the Olympics have been cancelled until next year, but there are other events that people have trained for a very long period of time, and they still want to be able to compete in these events.
Yeah.
But marathons, for example, you have too many people at one place at one time, and so they've come up with a way for people to continue doing the marathon by themselves. So they have an app where they record. They're being recorded whilst running, and so they can still compete in the marathon. This is happening actually in Nagoya, city.
Okay. Oh, that's really cool. So like basically the marathon still happens. They have their phone and then they run whatever it is. Like what is 42 kilometers? What's a marathon?
I don't know.
No, it's not. Wait.
So
Much
When-
more than I can
when-
run anyway.
They run the marathon with their phone. The phone tracks like their speed and how far they ran, and then it records it, and then they get the results like later to see where they ranked.
Yeah.
Basically, oh, that's really cool. So they just run on their free time, whenever, wherever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And wherever are they possible to choose which course they're gonna learn, or
It's not
on the
mentioned.
official? Okay.
I mean, you would have to kind of spread it out because it would take too long for each individual person to do it on the same track.
Mm.
Right. Well, it seems cool. It's a really, really cool idea. But I could definitely see some people complaining like you probably ran on a flat road for the entire distance. I was running uphill.
Yeah.
And you
Oh, the
Mm.
app actually can monitor like the incline that you
Oh.
are experiencing.
Okay.
Mm.
Will they factor that in though? Like since say like somebody went up or like went uphill a total of 1,000 feet, do they like take some time off? Or shave some time?
There would be technicalities to it, of course, because it's a new system.
Okay, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it works because I think I read part of the article, an article on that, and it was saying that like they're gonna use it up until like May 31st for the women's marathon in Nagoya, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see. We'll see. Maybe a future episode we can update people on how it went and so on and so forth. All right. So I actually have a couple of things that I would like to discuss. So Tokyo's in a state of emergency right now, right, Kumi?
Yeah, since yesterday.
Since yesterday. Let me just pull this up.
But this is not like emergency statement which other country had.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's very different to how Australia is handling an emergency.
Yeah. So
And
first statement Tokyo gave us was, kind of recommendation. They recommend to not going outside. So now we just had a second stage. Strongly suggest to not to go outside. Still not like order, don't open shops or don't go outside.
Yeah. So it's still like a recommendation, or was a recommendation at first.
Yeah,
Okay,
a little bit stronger. Yeah.
yeah. So it's getting like more serious now.
Mm.
I'm just going to read the first bit of this article on the state of emergency. So Japan is to impose a state of emergency in Tokyo and 6 other prefectures from Wednesday, which is today, to try to stop the coronavirus. Prime Minister Shinzo Abe said on Monday night. So the state of emergency, which will be officially declared on yesterday, applies to Tokyo, Kanagawa, Chiba, Saitama, Osaka, Hyogo, and Fukuoka prefectures. So far in Japan, there's more than 3,500 people who have tested positive for the coronavirus, and 85 of which have died, which is not like a huge numbers compared to some other hotspots globally. But the numbers are still rising with, particularly in Tokyo, which has more than 1,000 cases, including 83 new ones on Monday. So, how can you, Kumi, just like give us a brief description? Are people panicking in Tokyo? Because I know like in the States for a while, I don't know what it's like right now, but just from conversations with my family and friends, people were like, toilet paper was hard to get. A lot of people have gone a little bit kooky on social media, like threatening to like hurt people if they come to their houses. You know what I mean? So how's it
Yes.
in Tokyo right now?
So just a week or 2 weeks ago, especially young people are still hanging out around Shibuya, Shinjuku, which is the biggest station in the two of the biggest station in Tokyo, and still entertainment place were open.
Yeah.
So 2 weeks ago, there was just almost same, but less people in a city. But now, much less people in the daytime in a huge city. But still, a lot of people need to go their work, like office job or some work, because of their government statement is not clear. They can stop the business or something. So
Yeah.
the city is still cloud, and outside the city area, the supermarket, yeah, were in problem as well. Especially the day before we got an emergency statement, we had already got an announcement they will put emergency statement on Wednesday. So Tuesday, lots of rice, pack of rice, dried noodle, or some instant pasta, some that kind of food stuff has been gone from supermarket.
Okay, so yeah, that's. I just read this bit in the article too that says that even if a state of emergency is declared, citywide lockdowns, as seen in other countries hit hard by the coronavirus, such as China and France, cannot be enforced under Japanese law. So people will not be punished if they do not fall in line. Neither can business activity be banned. And then they're saying that the state of emergency is going to last for a month. And then, so the governors can restrict the use and request the temporary closure of places where large groups gather, such as schools and social welfare facilities, theaters, music venues, and sports stadiums. But outside of that, they can't really, so they don't really have the like jurisdiction or ability to say, hey, you have to stay home.
Yeah, even I don't think a police officer or someone patrolling if to check us why I'm going outside or something like that. No, there is no check.
Yeah.
In Australia, they're bringing in the actual the army to enforce people staying inside. Yeah.
Whoa, the army is on the ground?
Yeah, they're bringing in officers from all sorts of areas to enforce people staying inside.
Army, can army in Australia arrest the people? What's going to happen if I say that? No, I just wanted to go outside. What's going to happen?
They're not getting arrested, but they're just kind of installing more fear in people to make sure they do stay inside. And if anyone is disobeying that, forcefully letting them know that they need to be inside.
Yeah, like kicking them back in the house. It's so funny though that you say that, because I've seen, like, just looking at different countries and their reactions to this and seeing how they're trying to like get people to stay inside is really, really interesting. Like there was a guy in South Africa, if I'm not mistaken, who was out when they were like, stay home. And they charged him with attempted murder because
sure.
I don't know if he tested positive for coronavirus. Maybe, I don't know, maybe that was the thing. Like if you have this infectious disease and you're out in public, you're trying to kill people, here's a charge for attempted murder. I think that's a bit extreme. But yeah, and then like Kenya too. I've seen, like, I don't know if this is real, but it's hard to tell what's real on the internet. But
I tried to be quarantined quite strictly. I haven't been outside except buying essential stuff. So
do Japanese tend to follow rules that the government sets quite strictly? Or I heard the relationship between Japanese people and their government is not one of like trust and respect. It's more, but is it more skeptical?
Yeah, I think it's also the Japanese people's character. If everyone being quarantined, I want to be quarantined as well. I want to follow other ones.
Yeah.
What they are doing. Yeah, not only government affection. So
Asian countries,
for example, if I
sorry, no, compared to European countries, like for example Australia and America, they're more individualistic countries. So then they would each person would have individual reactions, but in Asian countries, I know that they have a lot more. The society kind of follows each other in this.
Maybe, for example, I'm really hesitant if I, if I have something I really need to go outside, but I try to not just say on Twitter or Instagram, Facebook, because I don't want to show I was outside for other Japanese people, because
Yeah.
I can, strong way to say I don't want to be criticized. Hey, everyone doing quarantine, why couldn't we go outside? I don't
Yeah.
want to be in this situation. So yeah, maybe trying to following other one's atmosphere, what they are thinking about this.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's probably maybe why Japan doesn't have such high numbers just yet.
Probably, I hope it will work well, because I don't want to have a wrong infection period. Not only I, of course. So let's being strict quarantined short while
Mm-hmm.
and finish blow it away this problem.
Yeah. Okay, so then another topic then is the stimulus package that Japan is going to be rolling out for companies and for citizens. Really, really interesting situation. It's huge. It's 20% of the GDP of Japan. I think it's 108 trillion yen that's going to be given out in total. And to give you specific numbers on what they're trying to give everyone, let me just really quickly pull this up.
Cash payout for
Yeah.
each family, 300,000
Wow.
yen.
Yeah, so like cash payout of 300,000 yen for each household, cash payouts to small and mid-sized firms to help them continue business operations. So kind of like similar, I guess, to what's happening in America. And then increase
And
employment
2
adjustment
masks.
subsidies for small and mid-sized firms as well as big companies. And then an additional 10,000 yen per child for families that receive child allowances already.
And this is monthly, right?
I think, let me see, it doesn't say. I believe it is. It has to be because the current situation for kids who, or for households who have kids is like a 15,000 yen stipend, if I'm not mistaken. So that goes up now to 25,000 yen. And then I know that they're also going to be giving, I don't know if you would call it a bailout, but funds to airlines as well who have been hit by this epidemic or pandemic. Yeah, but one interesting thing though is that sex workers, anyone within like the, I guess the sex industry, that includes porn, that includes your red light district people, will be completely overlooked, and they will not be receiving any funds whatsoever from the government. And there was an official statement from the labor ministry that said that, hold on, I'm just going to read it. The labor ministry has explained that it determined that industry type, which includes nightclubs and other establishments that entail entertainment and sex work, as, quote, unworthy of receiving public funds. So what do you guys think of
I always
Isn't
thought
it say,
Japanese,
yeah, sorry, Anna, go ahead, please.
I always thought that Japanese culture was quite not open to this stuff, but like they were. For example, there's shops that I go to where there's toys for kids, and the section next door is toys for adults. So and then obviously the comics and the shops that sell.
Yeah.
I always assumed that Japanese would continue to help people working in this industry just because they've been so supportive of them.
Yeah, a lot of people say that when they come to Japan, they're kind of shocked at seeing
How
like,
open they are with this stuff.
yeah, at the convenience stores, they're just on the magazine rack, just right there. So it seems like it's quite open and accepting of that uh, s- mm, mm, of that side of itself. Does that make sense? Am I speaking English?
On the other hand, when you are going to drugstore or your pharmacy, you can't find condom or gel skins easily because usually that kind of thing is a bottom of luck and end of the shop, corner of shop, something
Mhm.
like that. But when I've been to China, they sell that kind of thing in front of the cashier or just in front of the entrance, which means
Yeah,
I can find them easily. So I think this is a completely opposite idea. In convenience store, there's a porno magazine next to a comic,
mhm.
but condom can't find easily.
It's
It can't be
interesting.
found. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. That
Mm. I didn't realize that before Anna mentioned it. Hmm.
Japan.
Well, some people has the idea. I don't know if it's the reason why government won't give money for them. But I read some argument on Twitter is so this is not proper resource just from Twitter people's conversation. A lot of sex in worker from sex industry receive their payment by cash, so which
Yeah,
means they don't have a record how much they pay tax. Mm. And this is they government doesn't have a clear information their income.
mhm.
Mm. I Yeah, that's the thing I read. Is that reason the industry's person can't receive this money or
Yeah,
not?
yeah. So like part of the program for compensation for companies is up to 8,330 yen per day, and then for people who are working freelance, even people who are working freelance, so they get up to 4,100
Mm.
yen per person um, per day in their family, I believe. Um, yeah, but Kumi, I want to know, like, what do you, if you don't mind sharing, like, what do you personally think about this? And you as well, Anna. Like, do you think that people who are within the sex industry, people who are working at like nightclubs, people who are like kabakura, or
Mhm.
kabakura is considered sex industry, right? Or like in that kind of,
I think it's
yeah,
easily counted by sex industry.
or like snack bars, if people are familiar with what those are. Um, do you think that they should also be included in receiving some form of like help from the government, regardless of whether they pay taxes or not?
Yes,
Regardless of whether they were, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
from from I mean from my view, uh, each person who work for that industry, it's just people, not different from us, from me. So I think they should have some support
Mhm,
from government as well.
mhm.
No,
Mm.
I believe that as well. I'm obviously it's quite a controversial issue. Some people support this industry, some people don't. But that's also the
Yeah,
case for a
that's the
bunch of
point.
other companies. For example, people who test on animals for products. There's just different opinions on this, so therefore it's biased for or like the government to decide if they should or shouldn't receive compensation because there's people who support it, people who don't.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, yeah. I just want to see
So
what you.
not only people who work in for sex industry didn't pay tax properly. If even working for some other industry, when they have a financial problem, sometimes they couldn't pay tax properly. So that doesn't make sense. Defined that kind of industry people didn't pay tax. It's
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. Yeah, I can't find that reason.
Oh, I see what you're
I'm
saying.
curious. Yeah.
Yeah. So you're saying like people who don't normally pay taxes are still receiving the benefits. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, just because they're not working in the sex industry they qualify, but people who are working in the sex industry don't qualify.
Maybe the tax system should be help for everyone.
Yeah.
So even some people sometimes couldn't pay tax properly. This is a system. The
Yeah.
people who couldn't pay tax, that money help the other person.
Yeah.
That should be system,
Yep.
called system. So it really doesn't make sense.
Okay. So we're gonna switch to the last news article or topic that we have for this episode, and it's a bit darker. It happened here in Tokyo. So there was a man who killed a woman who said that she wanted to die. So I'm just going to read a bit from the article just to give you some information. And then I wanted to get your opinion on whether the sentencing you thought was, if you think the sentencing is fair. Okay, so Tokyo District Court on Monday sentenced a 22-year-old man to 5 years in prison for killing a 36-year-old woman whom he claimed told him that she wanted to die. So the court found Mizuki Kitajima of Iruma, Saitama Prefecture guilty of killing Hiromi Araki at a hotel in Ikebukuro on September 12th. I'm just gonna hold on. So he strangled Araki sometime between 6 and 8 p.m. that day. Araki's body, with her ankles tied, was found inside of a large plastic bag by a hotel employee. Let me just skip down. Kitajima told police that he had been using Twitter looking for people expressing a desire to commit suicide. He said Araki was such a person and that he met her for the first time on the day of her death. Kitajima's defense argued that he was only helping Araki fulfill her wish to die. However, the presiding judge said that killing someone just because they wanted to die could not be seen as helping them. So that's the gist of it. And then there's actually another bit that goes into like people who are struggling with suicidal thoughts and whatnot. And but why don't we just address first and foremost, like, what do you think? I don't want to laugh. What do you think?
So Kitajima look for that kind of person. Kitajima look for a person who wants to die because he wants to kill someone.
Right.
Or he wanted to kill himself after that.
No, like, so I believe he wanted to, according to the article, kill, like, he was looking for people who were wanting to die, so that he could, I guess, facilitate. I don't know if it was like him wanting to kill someone or him wanting to facilitate ending someone else's life who couldn't.
Yeah,
there's definitely a psychological aspect of that, like of him having desires to and looking for a way like to kind of bypass the legal system by saying this person actually wanted. I know that there's it's funny that it's happening in Japan. Well, not funny, obviously it's not funny, but it's interesting that it's happening in Japan because I've heard so many stories of how high the rates of suicide are here. A friend was telling me how he lived in somewhere around Tokyo, and within like a few months period, he actually saw 2 people jump in front of a train. And it's actually, he saw that Japanese people became quite numb to that occurrence because it happened so often. So I'm glad to see that they were taking it seriously in this trial because, from what I've heard, the population is quite used to it happening on the streets.
Especially when I saw the sign, the train will be stopped because of someone's suicide. But it just, usually the train information say there is an accident.
An accident, yeah.
Yeah, but a lot of people knew, someone jumped into that rail. But I think I also none to get this information as well.
Yeah.
So it's sadly this become one of the popular way to suicide jumping truck, but finding someone who killed them is, I think, still not common in Japan.
There was actually in the article, they were discussing something that happened that was similar in 2017. So there was another guy who would just like stalk social media and look for people who were like expressing some kind of like suicidal thoughts, and then he would approach them about, you know, like, hey, I can
Kill
I can
you.
handle this situation for you if you need me to assist you. And so he ended up killing 9 people, and those people were between the ages like 15 and 26, and they were all found like dismembered in his apartment. Um, so I was gonna ask though, do you think that 5 years is long enough for someone who's done something?
I don't.
No.
I'm glad you asked actually, because I was thinking for murder, which is what he would eventually like. I think, did he actually get convicted for murder? Because usually the sentence is much longer.
Mm.
Let me see, because it doesn't really.
Did they cut down the sentence because of his argument that she wanted?
Well, then, yeah, Kumi, what is like the typical sentencing for someone who's committed murder in Japan?
Sorry, what's the question?
What's like the typical or like average, I guess, sentencing for someone who's committed murder? Like, how many years do they normally serve in prison, like a murderer?
Is there
Sorry, I
death
don't
row?
have the information, but there is a, you know, we have a, I don't know English word. We have a maximum punishment like death.
Oh yeah, capital punishment, yeah. Uh-oh.
Hey, sorry, we had a technical problem, but we will keep going this topic, talking about this topic.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So you're saying that like you don't know what the average sentencing is for someone who's committed murder. I want to say, just as a side note, that is very interesting. That like, do you know what it is for your country, Anna? Or like just
No.
how just
Generally, it's more than 10 years.
I would imagine for America it has to be like more than 20, maybe. I don't know, you know, depends on like what state, who the judge is, all that stuff. But I can't imagine someone murdering someone in America and then only being sentenced 5 years. But I think that the reason Kumi maybe doesn't know is because it's maybe murder isn't as common of a thing in Japan as it is in the States.
Yeah, relatively, definitely I can say yes.
Yeah.
So one of the safe city, a safe country.
Yeah.
Especially murder and that kind of crime.
Yeah.
We don't have that much.
Yeah. Well, that's really good. I mean, it's a happy end to this very sad story of this young man killing a lady. So we have some audience questions. We'll get better at this. I will get much better at this. Audience questions. Kumi, they're all for you. The first question is, what is Japan's relationship with marijuana? What is Japan's relationship with hemp, if any? And then is medical marijuana legal in Japan? Brandon.
Firstly, for simple, I can answer simple is medical marijuana is illegal in Japan, not accepted yet. Yeah, but there is some movement. Some people said we should accept medical marijuana as well, like a foreign other country doing. But even that kind of group said smoking marijuana as how can I say that, entertainment and enjoyment.
Yeah, recreational.
Not gonna be popular in Japan.
Okay. Wow.
That's interesting because I have a lot of friends who keep asking me about the marijuana situation in Australia, seeing as it's not very forcefully enforced, as in like it's quite easily accessible, especially now recently a state in Australia has legalized marijuana. So I know a lot of Japanese who ask me, you know, how is it? You know, tell me more about it. They're quite intrigued to hear about it.
Mhm.
So that's interesting.
Have you, come across some people who partake since you've been here?
I keep getting people to telling me that I should go to this bar just across the street from my house, and now apparently the owners there, who are Japanese, um, you know, allow foreigners to try marijuana there.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't yet tried it myself, but it's a big rumor in our um, in
Neighbor.
our area.
Yeah. Okay, so it's available is the answer to
It's
that question.
available.
Yes. And then the next question, what are some Japanese superstitions?
Mm, have you ever seen the type of car, Leikyusha?
Thank you.
Is a hearse in English?
First, yeah. Mhm.
The car which bring dead body from temple to the place where we will burn the dead body.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's called Leikyusha. So the superstition is, it is called, oh no, sorry, the superstition. When I saw the Leikyusha, I need to hide my son,
Ah,
Oh,
because yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
because people believe uh, when I show my thumb for Leikyusha, I can't see, I won't be able to see my mom death or my dad death when my parents are dying, or the car bring my mom's soul, a parent's soul means my mom will die. I'm talking next to my mom.
I think this are you gonna bring your mom on? You can bring you can show your mom. I
So
think huh?
hopefully she's not gonna understand I'm talking about her death.
Okay. Hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, so that
Yeah.
superstition. Mm.
we actually don't have many superstitions in Australia. Most of them are centered around numbers. So how you have 13th in America, and in Australia they think the number 4 is quite unlucky because it's similar to the word for death in Japanese, Korean, and Chinese.
In
Number
Australia.
4, yeah,
Yeah.
very.
I was gonna ask you too, Kumi, like what is the word? The word for like thumb in Japanese is oyayubi, right?
Ah, yes, which means exactly parent's finger.
So that
No.
makes, yeah, maybe makes more sense than why like people want to
Yes, yes.
hide your parent
Mm.
fingers when
Mm.
you're seeing like a hearse or something pass by.
Interesting. That's interesting. A parent's finger, it's called a parent's finger, but usually it means a father, that finger.
Ah,
Mm.
okay.
Asian idea.
Hmm. Some extra Japanese in there.
So in addition, this is parent finger, oyayubi.
Hmm.
Index finger is called hitosashiyubi, means point person finger, like you.
Hmm.
And this is nakayubi, means just middle finger,
Hmm.
middle finger. This is medicine finger. It's called in Japanese language kusuriyubi, because maybe it's in ancient time people test some herbs or something like this.
Wow, okay. I didn't know that.
And this small finger is called small finger, koyubi.
Ah.
Mm.
So wait, one more time. Oyayubi, Hitosashiyubi,
Hitosashiyubi,
Nakayubi,
nakayubi.
Kusuriyubi, and Koyubi. Oh, okay, okay. Bet now you know all of your fingers in Japanese.
I'll have to
Congrats.
practice that a few times.
Yeah. Um, okay, well then I think is that it? Is that all that we have for people today? Yes, that's it. I was hoping someone would hop in. I was hoping someone would be like, yeah, that's all we have for you guys today.
I
So
thought you mentioned something else. Sorry.
no. So yeah, that's it for this episode. We will be doing this weekly and basically just picking out the best and most interesting articles that we find here in Japan to present to you. And then also we will have some Japanese slang lessons in the beginning of the podcast. And then at some point too, we would like to interview people who are doing interesting things here in Japan. So yes, tune in. Oh man, I sound like a typical. I don't want the.
We hope to see you again.
Yeah, yes, we hope to see you guys again. Leave us comments for any questions that you have about Japanese culture, history, Japanese language, anything at all, food, whatever it is. And then if you have any interesting people that you want us to interview, then send us the suggestions for that in the comments section on the YouTubes. All right. Thank you guys. Have a nice day.
Thank you, everyone.
See you guys
next week.
See you next week.
Bye.